Okay, we are now back on the trade fair floor with Olivia Chow with Yokip Consulting. Thanks so much for being with us here.
Thank you.
So tell us a little bit about what your consulting firm does.
We help money transfer operators, hedge funds, exchanges, any of those that have to do with cross-border crypto payments. And anything that is involved with making it a reality, whether it be operations, liquidity, business strategy, business development, anything related to that.
So what trends have you seen in the past few years since you started this business?
So when we talk about cross-border payments using cryptocurrencies, I just want to clarify it usually means buying Bitcoin in one country using, say, if we're going US to China, buying Bitcoin with USDs, sending the Bitcoin over to China, and in China they will sell it for renminbi. And one of the biggest drivers that I see for people using this method is actually China, because the traditional methods, which is based off of SWIFT, really was not designed for Chinese manufacturing and doing China for Africa, China to South America. And as a result, a lot of Chinese manufacturers are asking their African buyers and Latin American and Southeast Asia buyers to pay them in Bitcoin because it's faster in terms of settlement, and also it is hard to get money in and out of China as well. So I think that's really the big driver when we talk about trends overall, and
That international need.
exactly, for using some other alternative system of payments. Otherwise, for the past decades, people have been finding informal methods to do those payments. And now that more and more people need to, everything's going more global, I think that is where we really see the demand for using an alternative system.
One of the myths that's out there right now is that it's Bitcoin versus cash. Is it more like a marriage versus a separation of the two?
It's funny, we had someone come and be at IMTC whose job it is to design money, and she's obviously very pro-cash because she designs cash. And she was very surprised to be at IMTC to see so many people pro-cash, obviously because there's MTOs, but I actually think the crypto community is very pro-cash as well. So maybe as an outsider to see crypto as part of only digital, but crypto at the end of the day is really about the fact that you have a system that doesn't need a bank or government to exist. And obviously cash does, but it's not controlled digitally. So what ends up happening, one story I like to tell is when I was in Hong Kong, I was trying to get cash out of my ATM, out of the ATM, and my debit card or my ATM card has an 8-digit PIN. In Asia, it's only 6 digits. So the ATMs were not recognizing my ATM card. So what I had to do was I had to sell my Bitcoin to a friend who was also in Hong Kong, who gave me cash so that I could use taxi cabs, because in Hong Kong it's still very cash. And that's one main thing, but there's other stuff too where they prefer cash. And I saw it as I was happy that I had Bitcoin as a backup, and because the traditional system was not working for me. It's not that there's just a technical malfunction in that case or mismatch, and I had to just change my PIN once I was back in the U.S.
Yeah.
But it could have been possible my credit card wouldn't have worked, and then I would really have to rely on cash and a system that was not reliant on something else.
So Olivia, is there anything that we didn't touch on that you do want to make sure we get out to our audience?
So one thing that has come very clear to me lately is the fact that you can instantly settle with Bitcoin. That part meaning that you send the transaction, it's over. Because a lot of times people compare, a Bitcoin transaction to a Visa transaction where, you're like, oh, it's authorized instantly, how many transactions per minute. It is not actually settled for at least 3 days later, 30 days later, someone is going to cash later. And why I just want to highlight that as something that's important is if we're trying to potentially help emerging markets get access to capital, develop, you need to shorten those times so you have less use for credit. And I do think on a macro scale, that is the real value of being able to instantly settle, is being able to free up more capital so people can actually run their businesses.
So essentially we need to speed up the process and figure out a way to do that so that people who really need the money in dire situations, of course, that they get it.
That they get it, and that capital can be used for anything else more productive.
All right, thank you so much for your insight, your perspective, and sharing your values too. We thank Olivia for joining us here at IMTC for our little fireside chat right in the middle of the trade fair. Thank you so much.
Thank you.